everybody, to Flicker Effect. This is episode 267, and we're recording it on Sunday, September 16th, 2018. I'm David Lott. Joining me this episode is Bobby Jackson.
Hello, what's up?
Yasha Wilson.
Hey, everyone.
And Michelle Hillard.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, it's been a while.
It's been a while since we've had the whole group anyway.
The gang's all back.
The gang's all here, and it's great to hear everybody's voice. I was just saying that.
So, yeah, we had to take the last weekend off. Then the weekend before that, Michelle and I, we were at Dragon Con. It's been a while since we've just kind of sat and chatted about stuff we've watched, about movies.
Life.
So and this is my way of saying we have plenty to discuss.
So much
so
to talk about.
let's just jump right into it, shall we?
So there were movies that came out in the last 2 weeks, right?
There was some movies, there was some TV, there were some things.
Some movies.
I'm curious because I actually had a ticket to see The Predator, and I had to cancel it because of work, and ended up having to stay late at work that night, and I just couldn't make it happen. And I never made it out to see The Predator this weekend. I have been curious about this, kind of, with very little. I don't have very high expectations for it, just because I don't know. I don't know about you guys. I love Predator, the first film, and I'm gonna say the word love. Like I don't know. I just really like that movie. I just grew up probably watching it more than I should, and I don't know. I just really dug that film, and I think it holds up. Like it's just, I don't know. I like Predator a lot. But with that said, I don't think there has been a sequel yet to do it justice.
No.
Like everything involving a Predator character, Predator at all since then has just been nothing good for me. I don't know. And
Catastrophe.
hearing about this, I was like, okay, this could be cool. And then the first trailer came out, and I don't know. I was just like, oh no, this isn't doing anything for me either. And I don't know. It's Shane Black. I'm like, okay, maybe this could be good. I've been like interested in seeing it just to see if it is. So I'm curious, guys. How was The Predator? Yasha, you saw it, right?
Oh, let's see here. I fully explain the disappointment that I had when I walked out of that movie. You guys there?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what was it that disappointed the hell out of you, Yasha?
I'm sorry, it just got awful quiet, so I wasn't sure if you were still there. My apologies.
I was giving you
very
space to talk.
We're just letting you vent, man. You just do your thing.
You know what? I don't even know what I was expecting walking in there. Maybe a little bit more. I don't know. It just, to me, it seemed very lazy and simplistic in its plot format and how it developed. And like, I had a better time watching the one that had Adrian Brody in it than this one, Predators. I thought that was a lot of fun. But this one, I just found it ridiculous. Like Olivia Munn, I think she's a fine actress. I think she has her roles that she does really well in. Didn't think she fit in this movie at all, like not even a little bit. And some of the characters that I thought were going to be great just ended up kind of being... I think we had this conversation before, Bobby, and we both kind of agreed. I don't remember what the movie was we were talking about, but we both agreed it was like, this movie would have been awesome. Like, it would have really just held up and really competed and would have been a blockbuster smash. And I think that's kind of where I'm sitting with The Predator. Like, I agree with you, David, where I don't feel like there's been really a kind of built up to this. With Danny Glover, I thought it was fun, and I thought it was kind of, I mean, I enjoyed it, but maybe because I was a kid when I saw that. I mean, I was still very much a kid when that sequel came out, and now I'm watching this one, and I'm just kind of like, wow, that was at the very least. Like, I don't think that I would recommend to my friends to go see it in the theater. I think I would definitely be like, yeah, you can wait for that to come out on, say, like, there's no real reason to rush this movie. And because I really wanted it to be good. Like, I was really looking forward to like some oh shit moments, and I really did enjoy that. I thought were a lot of fun, that were funny. Thought it was a little bit over the top and actually kind of ridiculous. And I don't know why I didn't really get into it, but I was just like, yeah, this is like, it fits with the flow of what they've built the Predator, or Predators, I should say, up to be. Left with these lackluster characters, and a lot of real good raw talent there that, well, but I felt like it was also wasted. Like, I think Keegan Michael Keel was Jacob Tremblay, the little kid. I didn't even realize he was in the movie. I thought he was underused, and I don't think he really fit in the storyline. I thought it was kind of dumb. Boyd Holbrook and this guy who played his, I guess, sidekick, Trevante Rhodes, and played really well off of each other. They're fantastic actors. I just don't think that the storyline really fit well with what they were trying to do.
Right.
Our main villain, I guess you could say, who was Sterling K. Brown, Traeger, I thought he was terrible. I thought he was predictable, and I thought it was corny. I give it probably like a 3 or a 4 on a scale of 1 to 10. Kind of.
I feel like you're being generous.
Out of the theater.
I feel like you're being generous with that, man.
I was bummed. I mean, and I trying to go see this movie. Like, I was like, I want to go see this. Let's go see this. And we could have stayed at a bar and hung out and I cut into her evening, and we went to go watch this movie, and kind of she just sat there. She's like, well, I can't wait to hear what you have to say on the podcast. And I'm just like, yeah, I was bummed at how I felt when I walked out of it. I wasn't really feeling it. They don't really do anymore, because I feel like they've run out of ideas.
Right. Bobby, you saw it as well. What'd you think?
I think if you go into this movie with the right frame of mind, you might enjoy it, because this is definitely, to me, in the category of movies that are bad, that they might be good, but I don't know that they went for that going into it. It feels like it's just it was trying to do too much in the way of making itself try and stand out from the other other Predator movies, while trying to still capture the essence of it. And I think there was just too many different directions and chances that they were taking with the characters that I feel didn't work out at all. I mean, it just felt so weird watching it, and a lot of the dialogue was cheesy and corny, and it just cringeworthy as you're seeing these characters, excuse me, and these actors who are good, but they are involved in this movie, which it just feels like it was just so poorly written, as if it was supposed to be sort of mocking itself and playing up on it, but it wasn't. I don't think that was literally the intention, but that's what it feels like when you're watching it. It doesn't feel like it's really trying to be an actual take itself seriously Predator movie. It feels very much like it's just trying to make fun of itself, and I didn't dig it from that perspective. And I think overall, if I would have enjoyed this movie if you take out all of the voice acting, all of the dialogue. You just take that all out and just string the action scenes together with the Predator. That would have been a solid Predator movie, because there's some solid action to be had in the movie. There's some actual good points in terms of some of the scenes, the way it's shot and the way the kills happen. That's really thrilling, and it lives up to that Predator kind of legacy. but it's all the stuff in between that has to go along with it is what ruins it. And there's so many things. If you and Michelle had seen it as well, we would probably spend probably a good 2 hours just ripping this movie apart from beginning to end, because there's so much that's bad with it. And it's unfortunate because obviously I can't say too much because, people will have that expectation going into it. So it would lend itself well to a spoiler filled review and just tearing it apart.
So what you're saying is even if you went into the movie theater with expectation levels of, say, seeing Sharknado or Piranha or Tremors, and you kind of went in going, they're basically just here to kind of make fun of themselves, you still wouldn't have enjoyed this film.
Well, maybe that's what I'm saying. You would enjoy it if you went in there with that mindset, because that's essentially what it felt like to me. It was very schlocky and making light of itself in a lot of ways, and it didn't feel like it was trying to take itself too seriously at all. So I think if you went in there with that impression, you might enjoy it. Just have fun with it.
Gotcha. Okay. Like thinking you were going to go see the Meg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, to a certain extent. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
I think Bobby's right. I mean, there were some serious scenes that were like really solid action, and it just spoke to how the character was. And maybe that's why, as you said, Michelle, being a little generous on my rating, because there were some scenes where it's just like moment, and like to me when I watched, back in the day when I was a kid, or watching the Arnold Schwarzenegger one or the Donnie Glover one, or even the one with Adrian Brody, the Predators one, where it's just like I feel like a moment of just like, oh, okay, like this is I was expecting this character to do, and this intensity of it, and the character I think is so unique, and it's been so iconic for so long. I mean, it really is, and it helps to make it made it really fun, and it's good. But it's like this one, it just felt so kind of lackluster, and on the nail on the head too. And said it's just like isn't there.
Well, that's a bummer. I don't know if I'll bother at this point seeing it in the theater, but thanks guys for helping me save some money.
Oh, you're really bummed.
I mean, I am and I'm not. Like I said, I didn't have high expectations for
I
it.
know, but you love the Predator.
I love the first film, and it can just be on its own forever for me, and it doesn't need to be any others.
I get that. I get that.
Even Predator 2, which I haven't seen in a long time.
Jesus.
I don't remember really caring for it, and all the Alienverse Predator stuff. Ugh. And honestly, I never saw Predators, so I can't speak for that movie. But I don't know. It's one of those things too. I feel like the Predator is such a film too that the mystery of this character in the movie is what makes it interesting. And then I don't necessarily need more films to like kind of flesh out like what is this race and who are these people kind of things. Like I don't want any of that. So you know what, the first movie's good, and I'm good with that. I don't need any other films.
I expected more from Shane Black. And I like his work. Like, I liked Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I loved the Lethal Weapon. The series as it went on kind of got a little cornier. Loved the characters. I really enjoyed The Nice Guys. Iron Man 3, was Iron Man 3. Let's not get into that. That's a whole nother world that we should talk about. But
yeah,
I really did expect more from Shane Black, like when it comes to the creativeness and interaction of the characters, and I just there with this. It felt very basically that's what it felt like. It just
right.
Why it was not great. That's all.
Aww.
Well, that's the Predator. And yeah, I have also over the weekend, since I found out I wasn't seeing it, and then I started seeing some tweets about it and other friends who saw it, I've heard a pretty unanimously negative things about this film. So I'm not too surprised to hear what you guys think, but that's a bummer.
And obviously, controversy around it as well. So
What controversy?
What's that? You hadn't heard about the controversy?
I don't know. I mean, what controversy are you referring to? I don't know.
Oh, well, as the story goes, there was an issue in which Shane Black had cast one of his friends into the movie.
Okay, yeah, I think I know what you're going to talk about.
Huh?
I think I know what you're going to talk about, yeah.
Yeah, and apparently it turned out that this guy had allegedly had committed a crime of like a pedophilia kind of thing. So his scene was with Olivia Munn. She didn't know about it, and so she ended up complaining and asking for that scene to get cut, which it did, but she was super uncomfortable about the whole thing.
Right. All right. Well, with that, we're going to move on from The Predator. And then I know, Yasha, you were able to join us for our review of The Predator, but unfortunately you have to depart. So thanks for joining us.
I must bid you all adieu, and we will chat again soon. I'm sure throughout the week and everything. Thanks for letting me a little bit this afternoon or evening, I should say, guys. And I hope you don't go too late.
We'll try not to.
But go watch other things. Don't watch The Predator.
There are other films out there.
All right. Well, what else?
There were other movies that came out.
There were other movies. I didn't see The Predator. You didn't see The Predator either, Michelle. But we did see A Simple Favor.
Yes, we did.
We did. Did you see it, Bobby?
No, I was thinking about seeing it today, but no, I didn't.
Yeah, we decided to see that. And
that's got Anna Kendrick in it, Blake Lively. I'm sure you guys have seen the ads for it. It's been very kind of like, what the hell is this film about? Because it doesn't allude to much of anything in most of the trailers.
I mean, yeah.
It looks like Gone
a
Girl.
little bit. It does allude to the one woman disappearing at one point, but I will say it doesn't really give much more to... Anyways, so yeah. No, yeah. Blake Lively, Anna Kendrick. And go.
Yeah, we saw this, and it's been getting pretty good reviews, I will say. I mean, last I checked, I think on Rotten Tomatoes, it's sitting at 80-something%. 82%, maybe? Trying to find it. 82. Yep, 82% as of this recording. It's directed by Paul, and is it Feig or Feig?
I thought it was Feig.
I always hear... Really? See, I always hear Feig.
I thought I had always heard Feig as well, but...
Okay, maybe it's Feig then.
But I don't know.
Well, no, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I hear it, say it, or what. I don't know that the people who are saying it are saying it right either. So I'm just saying what I usually hear.
Right.
But he's, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, he's mostly known as a comedic director.
For the most part,
he directed Bridesmaids, that movie Spy.
Which actually wasn't that bad, actually. I watched Spy, and there's a few things I was kind of like, this is kind of a little too silly, but it was kind of a cute film, actually. I was surprised. I
will say, as for A Simple Favor, I'll jump right into it. I was not that happy with this movie. And I wouldn't say it's bad. Like, it's fine, but it definitely got to a point later in the film that I was kind of over it and done with it. And I very easily could have just gotten up and left and been fine. Like, I could tell, like, the road it was then going down, and it was just like, it was just stupid to me and kind of silly. And I feel like I never checked the Rotten Tomatoes score before we went, but I was like, I feel like I've heard relatively good things. And then after we saw it, I went and I had to see what the Rotten Tomatoes score was, and I was like, really? 82%? I'm like,
yeah.
I was shocked to see that. Excuse me. And I was shocked to see that, and yeah, I don't know. Like, I will say too, we saw it in a pretty full theater. And
it was.
The audience, for the most part, seemed to be reacting to the movie much better than I was. Like, especially at least, you know, the one thing you can gauge in an audience is when they laugh. So when it comes to at least the humor that's in the film, our audience was laughing at a lot of the stuff that I was like, I guess it's not really that funny, but okay. but everyone else in here seems to be enjoying this. But okay, like, so I don't know. I guess maybe this just isn't for me. My biggest takeaway is that this movie, it gets to a certain point where I could tell it doesn't seem like it knows what it wants to be. In one sense, it seems like it's kind of a serious Gone Girl kind of film. And don't get me wrong, it's nowhere near the, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of the feel of a Gone Girl, which is very serious.
It doesn't give you that suspense.
No.
Or that almost like that like eerie feeling that you get. Yeah.
But yeah, it feels like it's trying to be a serious film about the disappearance of a woman. But then at other times, is it a parody of that kind of film? But it doesn't seem like it is. But then there's all this humor in it, and I'm like, I don't know. It was a confusing film that I don't think he found a perfect kind of, and I'm talking about the director here. I don't think he found like a perfect kind of spot or what he was going for.
I don't think, I'm just going to jump in here. Sorry, because we were on the same page. Like, I know we really haven't talked about this film. We kind of have alluded to what I think we think, but we were exactly on the same page. So I saw the film as well, and honestly, I kind of think it's a mess in that I don't think that he had his vision was not well-rounded or executed in a way. Like, I don't think he even understood exactly what he wanted to do. It did. Like, I feel like the beginning of the film starts out kind of humorous, and then it gets into a point where it starts getting really kind of serious, and it starts getting some really serious undertones, and you start going, okay, we're getting into the nitty gritty here. And then it kind of turns into almost like a parody of, it's like a parody version of Gone Girl in a way. And I'm just like, is this supposed to be funny? I don't know what's happening right now. Like, it's weird. And the tone of the film is constantly ebbing and flowing in and out of this, like, serious, making fun of itself, serious, making jokes, serious. Like, it never felt comfortable at any point in time. And I hate that. Like, I just don't think the director had his vision. I don't think he really had a vision, per se, exactly how he wanted to be. It was a mixture of mishmash, and it felt that way from it constantly in and out the whole way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say though, like,
I don't know. I'd be curious if I could sit down with him and ask, like,
I know.
So what were you going for? Like, because I think you were going for kind of a parody, kind of more of a comedy film. Right. But then there's a lot about this movie that doesn't feel like that, especially earlier on, or in the middle anyway, I guess. I don't know.
Kind of. It's like it starts out, and Anna Kendrick's character, I guess, I'm not going to give away plot lines here, but she's a vlog, and it's kind of cute and cheerful and funny. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, is this going to be kind of a parody-ish kind of thing? Oh, okay. I didn't realize that's what we're getting, but okay. If that's what's happening, that's what's happening. It's cool. I'll go with the flow. And then pretty quickly, it gets pretty serious pretty quick. And so then I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that was just this vlog thing. Like, that's just what that is. That's fine. That's cool. And it's serious for a while, and then it starts going back into weird stuff again. And I'm just like, wait, what the fuck is happening? But I will say, if I had to say if there were things that did work comedically for me, honestly, it was kind of like everything that happened with, I'll call it the moms. Like the classroom moms joke, like those were some good moments. I will say, I will tip my hat at those jokes. Those scenes always kind of played out really well. And then I will say, Blake Lively's character, her like complete like I don't know, indifference to life of existence is an interesting thing. And I thought that was kind of funny too. Like, her quips were very like, I just don't even care that I'm breathing oxygen, and that's fine. And she's, very pessimistic and self-deprecating in a way, which was kind of humorous, and it was kind of enjoyable. But otherwise, there's other stuff that I was like, is this supposed to be funny? Is this trying to be funny? Or is this actually funny? And I'm just not understanding why this is like, it just was weird.
Yeah, I mean, and to anyone who hasn't seen it, and you're listening to this, but then you're also seeing a lot of the ratings out there, which are mostly positive. It's like, I will say, if you're wondering if you should see it, possibly watch the trailers. If it seems like it's interesting, you should go see it. You might enjoy it. Like, I don't know. It's not bad. I mean, for the most part, I enjoyed most of what I watched. Yeah. Like, I like Anna Kendrick, and I feel like she's perfectly cast here. And, I like her character. It's kind of funny. And, Blake Lively, I guess, whatever. But
I'm back and forth on Blake Lively.
yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It's just, this movie's tough because it didn't do anything for me. And like I said, it got to a point where I was just kind of over it and wasn't in it anymore. I was kind of didn't even care how it was going to play out, and had a feeling that however it was going to play out, it was just going to be kind of silly, and it kind of is.
It is. The ending is so silly.
I don't know. Again, I'd be curious to have a sit down with him and ask him, like, were you going for a parody? Because there's certain scenes where I'm like, you made decisions in certain scenes, and I'm like, this feels weird. And again, we talked about I brought this up afterwards, and for some reason this sticks out. This feels like a perfect encapsulation of the confusion of this movie. But there's a scene that takes place in a cemetery.
Oh, yeah.
And the way that Blake Lively is dressed, she is wearing this jacket.
She's wearing a white women's suit. So it's a white suit, but it's a fashion suit. So it's not like a business suit. It's like a high fashion white suit.
Right. And it's open.
There's no undershirt under the jacket.
Yeah, I think she had kind of a tie in the middle. But basically, I was completely distracted by her top. I'm just like, why is she wearing this right now? and this scene, I feel like I shouldn't be paying attention to her chest this entire time.
No, because there's plot happening. Like, their conversation is actually integral to the plot, and you're watching it, and all you're looking at is her chest, and you're wondering when the jacket's going to give way a little bit on that left side.
That's funny.
So yeah, I don't know. This movie was. I'm kind of glad I saw it just because I was curious. Because even from the trailers, I was like, this is weird. I wonder. What the hell is this all about?
I know.
And I should have had a better sense that this was going to be kind of confusing for me, because I don't know if you guys have seen it, but on social media, scrolling through Instagram, because I follow Anna Kendrick, I think I follow Blake Lively. And they've been posting some of these like GIFs of like promotional stuff for the film, and one of them, I remember, it starts off like a zoomed in photo of Anna Kendrick's character. And you can tell she's like in her front yard or garden or something. And as it zooms out, you see that she's not holding a watering thing, but it's actually like I think a can of like gas or something she's pouring on the bushes. And then as it continues to zoom out, in the background, there's this really hot guy who is wearing nothing but like a string, basically.
I guess I don't follow Anna Kendrick on Instagram.
And I'm just like, what in the fuck is this? So, like, I've never, even from the trailers, I didn't get a sense that this what does this have to do with this movie? And maybe it wasn't her that posted it. It might have been Blake Lively. Anyway, it was one of those two. So.
It could have just been an ad. I will say I've been seeing actual ads on Instagram for this film, for film promotion.
I have been seeing
and there
that,
was one that had Blake Lively, and she was in her kitchen, and it was like white and red, and it was kind of, anyways. So no, A Simple Favor, it just wasn't my thing, and it could be somebody else's thing. Oh, holy hello.
So I'm showing it to Michelle right now, the ad.
The Instagram ad. That's more distracting things. I don't know.
It's just so weird. I'm like, what does this have to do with the movie?
I wasn't prepared for that. Anyways, so yeah, A Simple Favor. It could be other people's things, but it didn't hit home with you and I.
No.
But there was another film you and I saw.
Yeah, I mean, real quick. I mean, and Bobby, I'm sure that you've seen a lot more recent stuff to talk about, and we'll get to that. But
real fast.
Last night we watched Love, Simon, which I never got a chance to see. You didn't either.
I didn't either, and I wanted to.
But you saw it, Bobby. I remember you talked about it, right?
No, I've been wanting to see it.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
Oh.
No.
I thought you talked about it. I swear I thought you did. Anyway.
Well, let's go from a bad movie to a mediocre movie to a...
Oh, it was a great movie.
Great movie.
I loved Love, Simon.
That's all I've heard is good things about it.
It was excellent.
That movie was really good.
I think I thought about it recently because of... was it Perry Nemiroff over on Collider brought it up as like the best movie she thinks she had seen so far this year. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, I've heard good things, but that's pretty high praise. I'm like, man, I really got to see that. And then I saw, oh yeah, it's available to rent. And we watched it last night, and it was excellent. I loved it.
That was a very excellent film, and that film was exactly what I expected that film to be, and it executed perfectly. It was a very, very good film, and it even if you can't relate to the main character on the basic level, you can relate to him on every other sub level that is happening in his life. And like it's so good. It's so good. And you can it gives you all the feels, and I cannot praise this film enough. Spectacular coming of age. Just good, start
and
to
yeah,
finish.
for a coming of age film, like, that's set in high school, as almost most of them are, you've got these really great adult characters, like this vice principal who's just...
The vice principal's great.
He's great. This drama teacher is amazing.
She was a blast.
She kind of steals the show at times. She was really good.
In the best way. She had some really killer lines. Like, you and I laughed every time she came on screen.
No, she was amazing.
Oh, God. So good.
Anyway, that was an excellent film. It was a nice palate cleanser.
It really was. It really was a good, yeah. After hearing things about Predator and after us seeing a Simple Favor, like, this was very like, oh, okay, good. There are good films out there again. Oh, thank you, Jesus. We're not crazy.
So yeah, highly recommend that.
That's a good note. That's a good one. There we go. Go see Love, Simon. Woohoo.
So Bobby, what else is out there in the world to see?
I got a strong recommendation myself, actually. There's a movie I saw a couple weeks ago. I'd been wanting to see it for a while, and I don't know if you guys had seen the previews for it or had heard about it, but it's a movie called Searching with John Cho.
No.
I've heard of it, but
okay.
I haven't seen it.
Okay, so the basic premise of the movie is John Cho is this father to a 16-year-old girl who goes missing, and the sort of gimmick of the whole movie is that it takes place in like computer screens. So everything is seen from the perspective of like as if you're inside the computer screen or visualizing stuff from some sort of screen. And I think it was either the director or someone involved who coined this phrase for that type of film, where they call it screen life. So it's just showing life throughout different types of monitors, or maybe it's your cell phone, or it's the computer screen, or the laptop screen, or security footage, or something. And it's just you're seeing it through some sort of screen. And at first, it's like, okay, you kind of get the sense of the way that it's being filmed. But after a while, you just sort of, it fades away, and you just get so involved in the story of how he's trying to find his daughter. And there's also, the only other person I recognized in the movie was once the law enforcement get involved, there's one of the officers that's investigating the crime is played by Deborah Messing. So a lot of the times you'll see them talking to each other through what's the Apple version of like Skype?
Like FaceTime?
Yes. So they're FaceTiming a lot. So you see them in that respect. But the way it goes about using this technology is so smart and clever in so many different ways where it feels legit. In most movies, and you see people typing and stuff, everyone types so perfectly. But in this movie, you'll see someone mistype something and then they'll type again with a little asterisk and put the right word kind of thing. It's like that legit happens instead of just sort of everything being perfect. Or someone writes out this big whole long thing in a text and then they think better of it and wipe it out and then sort of put something else. It's like little touches like that make it so believable. But the story in and of itself, as this mystery unfolds, is so good. I can't tell you highly enough how much I love the movie, and that you should definitely put it on your list to see it while it's still in the theater. It's so good.
Nice to put it on my radar.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I had no plans to go see it, but now I'm like, okay, that's gotta happen.
I would definitely say see that one.
Wow.
You might be hearing me talk about it later on in the year.
Wow.
Let's
wow,
see.
you're like, yeah, this is happening. Top 10 show. Hey now.
Yeah. I mean, there's some more movies to come out this year, but sure, I would definitely say it's a good, strong contender. What else did I see? I don't think I saw anything else because The Nun, I wanted to see that, but then started hearing bad things about it. So I kind of end up passing on that. Peppermint, I kind of wanted to see, but same deal.
Yeah. So, you know what's funny about Peppermint? Am I crazy? Or I thought that was supposed to be a Netflix film.
No,
I hadn't heard that.
no, I hadn't heard that.
Okay, I must have just gotten a weird thing in my head, like back when when it first started dropping, like that this was a Netflix film.
Oh.
I guess that's what my head went to. I don't know why. I think it has that look to me.
Yeah, I could get that. Though it's funny, Netflix is releasing so much that anything at this point could basically be
Right,
a
and I think
Netflix
that's
film.
why I was like, oh, it's a Netflix film. I think that's why I had that thought. I don't know. And I'm not saying anything bad on Netflix. It kind of had kind of that look a little bit to it. And I was like, oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that's for me as far as movies that I've seen, that's been pretty much it other than what I've talked about previously. And everything else that I watched was TV related because there's been a lot of stuff coming out on streaming services and some of the network or shows are starting to appear. And one of the newer ones that came out a couple weeks ago was the show on FX called Mayans, which is a spinoff of Sons of Anarchy. And I really enjoyed Sons of Anarchy, so I wanted to give this a try. And it takes place a couple years after the series finale of Sons of Anarchy. And I've only seen the first episode. Second episode is out there. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. But just based off the first episode, I would say it falls right in line with the other Kurt Sutter stuff that he's done, especially with the Sons of Anarchy being the last one that he did. If you like that series, I think you would probably end up liking the Mayans and enjoying that. It seems to have an interesting angle that it's taking compared to some of the ways that the original Sons of Anarchy show went. So I'm absolutely tuning in for that, and we'll try and stay current with that as much as possible.
I've heard good things about Mayans. It's getting some good reviews.
Yeah. And I mean, Kurt Sutter is always known for kind of telling that street level aspect of his shows. The one show that he did that I really would love to go back and watch sometime, I mean, odds are I'll never get a chance to do it just because of how busy everything else is, but The Shield, I'd always heard really good things.
I've heard really good things about The Shield, but that's another one I never. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the first. I didn't finish The Shield, but I think I kept up with that show for like 3 seasons.
Did you?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was excellent. I mean, because I remember that was for FX, basically one of their first like really original shows.
Seems like it, yeah.
And it was, I mean, right off the bat in that pilot episode, it was a perfect kind of look at things to come for that channel, like just the grittiness of it and things that they were doing in that show that you did not see on TV. That was like, whoa, this is it's almost HBO kind of material,
right?
You know, and now we see that kind of stuff on AMC and FX and such all the time. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, The Shield was great.
Yeah. See, that's I've always heard good things about it, and it's one of those shows that has always appeared on people's lists, but I had just never gotten around to it. And I don't know that I ever will, but there's another show that's kind of like that I know that I will go around back to watch, which is 6 Feet Under. I always have heard so much good stuff about that series, and I've heard nothing but the absolute best about that series finale. I don't know what happens in it, but apparently it's like.
But have you never seen an episode of that?
No, I have. I remember I had started watching it at one point in time, but I fell behind on it, and I think I've only seen maybe a handful of episodes from the first season.
So, because I started randomly watching episodes of that show from the beginning, like a year ago or so. Maybe not even that long ago. I don't remember how far I made it. I didn't make it that far. It was just kind of like, oh, I'll try this. I've always heard so many great things about 6 Feet Under. Just kind of like what you're saying, Bobby. And I think I watched like at least 3 or 4 episodes.
I think I had tried watching it.
And I don't know, like, I will say watching it, I was kind of like, I feel like I expected better. Like, and I don't know if it's just it was something I needed to see back when it was out, and I would have felt differently. But now watching it with so much other great television that.
It was too slow of a slow burn for me.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't doing much for me. And that's why I don't think I didn't really try to keep up with it and keep going with it. I don't know. I was kind of unimpressed.
I think I remember because it was a while. So I remember I kind of been wanting to watch that show forever. And I started it up and you're like, yeah, maybe I'll start it up with you. And you started up on your own. And I think I got 6 or 7 episodes in. I got a little ways in because I kept trying to give it a thing. And I was like, this is just such a slow burn for me. And I'm just not feeling this. I feel like I should be more engaged with this show. And I'm just not. It's not happening. I guess I should have just seen it at the time it came out.
Yeah, I mean, because not only did I hear great things, but yeah, that was an Alan Ball show, right? Yeah, Alan Ball, and I love his work. And it's like, oh, this is right up my alley. I just never got around to watching it, and I don't know. Yeah,
I guess we just should have been there at the time.
Maybe.
Anyways, what were you saying, Bobby?
Yeah, so continuing on to the TV train, the other thing that I had watched, which I believe the same night as Mayans a couple weeks ago, a new series emerged on USA, I believe, and it's The Purge TV series. Obviously, if you're familiar with The Purge, you know pretty much what The Purge TV series is probably about. It's a night of The Purge, but in this sense, from a TV's perspective, it's 3 different people's stories of what's going on with them and their particular night on The Purge. And one of the stories is this guy who has been served in the military, and he's come back to find that his sister is a part of this cult who envision themselves as people who can give themselves over to be purged, and it will help them sort of ascend and find some sort of peace in the afterlife by being volunteers of people to be purged. And so it's him trying to go through this night trying to find his sister where she's at so that he can kind of save her. And then another storyline that's going on is this married couple who's trying to finance something, and so they go to this rich party where people have this purge party, and they find out that essentially someone from their past is there, and there's been some sort of mysterious undertakings that they've had in the past with this person. So they are sort of on the verge of finding out essentially what's going on at this party, because it's not just a normal party. And I would say that one's probably the least interesting of the 3, but the other one that's going on is this woman who works at this business law firm, maybe not a law firm, but they do something, and she's in a high position, but she has this boss that seems, I forget who plays him, but it's one of the Baldwin brothers, and I want to say Billy Baldwin, possibly, but he has been sort of to put it timely, like Les Moonves of the business, kind of unwanted advances and kind of keeping her in a position where she feels that she has been passed over and looked over for different things just because of for whatever reasons. And so she has paid someone to take him out on purge night, and it's sort of following her and showing a little bit of backstory of how she got to the point where she made the decision to have his character killed. And so, yeah, it's pretty interesting. I think in 2 episodes in, I've watched the 2, and I'm so far into it. And I think it might be better in a way that if it was all at once, I could just binge it. But it's keeping my interest enough to want to see it week to week.
I was going to say, it's only like a 10 episode thing, too.
Yeah,
it's
and
small.
I think like it would be so good to just be able to binge it all.
Right, like if it'd been on Netflix or something.
Totally, yeah. But overall, I mean, if you like that, I would just give it a try, and it is the USA Network.
Cool.
Pretty easy to catch up at this point. What else have I watched? Ozark season 2 started a few. I think it dropped on Netflix like maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, and if you like the first season, this is more of the same in continuing on in the story. And the basic plot is that Jason Bateman is this family man who is married to Laura Linney, and they are essentially money launderers, and they were living in Chicago. Things got heated, and they had to get out of town, and they moved to Missouri, and they're living in the Ozarks, and they find that this place that they're living in order to help sustain their life and in terms of being on this earth, they have to kind of make deals with the local people who are on the shadier side of things in order to please the cartel that they essentially got in trouble with back in Chicago. And it's them trying to kind of keep their head above water. And this series is so well. Jason Bateman is good in it, but to me, the real star, the person that kind of is scene stealer is Laura Linney. She's just really, really good in this series. But the show itself, man, I would say this is one of those shows where it. Did you guys ever watch? And I'm dating myself here, but that old cartoon Dudley Do Right.
Yeah.
No, I never really did.
You never watched Dudley Do Right?
I don't think so.
They used to like put it up against Rocky and Bullwinkle and stuff.
I mean, I'm not saying I've never seen it, but
Anyways,
I'm gonna go with
okay.
no.
Yes. So the whole thing with Dudley Do Right is like every episode, it seems like Nell, who was like the female girl, she was always in trouble, and it was like, how's he gonna get her out of it this week, kind of thing. And that's what kind of like when I watch the Ozark, that's how I feel in some ways. It's like every episode, it's how are they going to get themselves out of this new mess that they just got themselves into within this episode. And it's like a new mess every episode. And it's how are they going to get themselves out of it? And every time they seem to get themselves out of it, they create more problems for themselves into a new scenario that they now have to get out of. So it's a tough watch in that sense because there's never a moment of respite. You never feel like, oh, this is a happy-go-lucky episode, and you know you can kind of catch your breath for a minute. No, it's like you're into the swamp of it all, and you're just slowly descending, and you just have to keep your head above before
just riding
you
it
sink
out.
under. Yeah, so it's good, but it's tough to watch, especially as a binge because it's so heavy. And I think if you watch the first season and like it, then absolutely you should still keep watching season 2 because it is good. And I'm only 8 episodes into the 10 episode season, so right there near the finale, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Sweet.
What else have I watched? Iron Fist season 2 is out.
Yeah, I saw that drop the other. Yeah.
Yeah, it was last week, I believe.
Yep.
And I did watch the whole thing, and I have to say, it's a whole lot better than the first season was. I mean, in so many different ways, it's better. And I found myself really compelled to watch episode after episode. And one of the things that I absolutely gravitated towards, and it felt like I wanted to see more of, was the relationship between Misty Knight and Colleen Wing. They are so good together. And in the comic books, for anyone that knows, they are the Daughters of the Dragon, and they have their own. Well, they have had their own comic book series at different points in times, but they are so good together. Those actresses and their chemistry together, and you just want to see more of them. And to his credit, Finn Jones is a lot better this season. The fight choreography is way better. The dialogue is way better. Storyline is way better. Everything about it is just better. And I would say if you watched the first season, was disappointed, give the second season a try because I really do think it's a huge step up from season 1.
Nice. It's good to learn that is no longer just feeling like you're trudging through that season. But I mean, we've had hopes. We've had good hopes for this one because of the new showrunner. So I'm happy to hear that apparently it's paid off.
I feel like he definitely delivered. I'm
Sweet.
anxious to see a season 3. Seriously. And the last thing that I watched that I can't recommend highly enough maybe it's because I like this kind of stuff, this genre. But on Amazon, there was a series that dropped a few weeks ago called Jack Ryan, starring John Krasinski.
Don't get too detailed here, because I need to start this one. I can tell.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to, but I mean, if you know who Jack Ryan is, you gotta know what the essential aspect of the show is. And to me, it feels like if you watched 24, it has that sense of aspect to it, but not to the level of that anxiousness to where it's this real time thing that takes place in 24 hours. So it feels like everything is ramped up and heightened in 24, but in here it's more of a slow burn, but it's done in a thoughtful way and really laid out really, really well. And man, I don't know if John had been still in good shape from when he did 13 Hours, but he's like seriously ripped up in this series. I was like, dang.
There's an Instagrammer that I follow very well. No, he kept in good shape from 13 Hours, and he did for The Quiet Place, as weird as that sounds, because he knew he was going to be doing a lot of physical stuff in that. But yeah, he really got into, when he did 13 Hours, he really got into kind of the military style of training and bodylifting and everything. And he's really stuck with it, because it's what's interesting is he does a lot of stuff now. I think because of 13 Hours, and probably also because of Jack Ryan, he does a lot of stuff with the military, and he's out doing stuff with the USO, and he's always doing fundraisers and yeah. Anyways, so yeah, no, he's down with keeping that physique apparently right now, and I think the world's a better place for it.
Well, this show is definitely a better place for it. It's just the way that they do and show Jack Ryan. It reminds me of, maybe I never read the books, but I feel like the intent for this character was for him to be a person that you look at on the outside who seems very unassuming, but who knows how to handle himself. And that's what you get when you see him in the series. You see him essentially just being an analyst, but this particular set of events that happens requires him to go out into the field, and you see how kind of reluctant he is, but when he's out there, he knows how to handle himself, and it comes across really well. And I think because John Krasinski is so good at being able to pull off the everyman aspect, it plays well into this character, and I'm really enjoying it. It's 8 episodes, and I think I'm five episodes in, so I just got 3 left. But it had already, before the first season started, got picked up for a second season. Yeah. So I would say it's definitely worth your time to check out. It's
getting really good reviews. People are really eating it up. And like David, I know, really likes kind of the John Clancy films traditionally. And so I think he's kind of looking forward to it. But he's got some trepidations about it, especially with like the whole like, oh, I'm just an analyst. Oh, poor little me.
Well, that's what the show, I mean, that's what the character is all about. I don't know. That was, you're citing a specific nitpick I had about the trailer they put out, and it was just like that one moment that it was an eye roll moment for me. I'm like, oh, God, I don't know.
But do you want to see this?
Do I know? I don't know. I mean,
I'll be watching this one alone.
I feel like you've misread my anticipation of this show.
Apparently.
I don't know. Like, I mean, I will say, yeah, you know, Bobby, you're saying it's a good show. If indeed it's also just getting great reviews, I mean, I take that into account, and then, okay, cool, I'll give it a shot. But based purely on like the trailers I had seen and stuff, I was kind of, I'd maybe watch it. I don't know. That's kind of where I was with it. We've had so many different versions.
I wouldn't sit here and say that the trailers got me hyped up to watch it. I was only going to watch it based on the strength of the fact that I like John Krasinski and I'm familiar with the Jack Ryan character, and was going to at least give it an episode just to see how I would like it. And they impressed me enough with the first episode to make me want to keep watching. So I think that's kind of where I think a lot of people probably came at it from.
Right.
But yeah, because I mean, I think I remember saying like about the trailer, it struck me as a show that could have looked higher quality than it looked. It looked like a CBS show as opposed to like something that was on like Netflix or Amazon, where a lot of the times these streaming services are putting out stuff that looks pretty incredibly good, and this didn't seem on par with that to me, at least again from the trailer I'd seen.
No, and I agreed with you. I felt the same way, but I keep hearing such fabulous things about it. I keep hearing it's really good, it's written really well, it's really entertaining, and so I'm like, okay, well, I can't just base off the trailer if this is the reviews that are coming out right now.
I know I haven't been paying attention, so I've heard none of this. And
it's getting a lot of good chatter.
I hear Bobby
FYI.
has nice things to say.
Yeah.
But
so speaking of the streaming services and random things, if you guys are looking for some really random, I have a fever, I'm stuck on the couch and need to watch really things I don't need to pay full attention to, but just need something that's slightly entertaining, Netflix has a few little cutesy, like, coming of age rom-coms out there. So I just want to kind of throw it out to you guys. So the one that it's been out for a while, and I've heard things about it and little rumblings, and everybody was saying, oh, it's so cute and whatever. It's called The Kissing Booth. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one.
I'm not.
I have.
That one's okay. It's cute. It was, it was fine. But the other two that I will say that I really enjoyed.
I know what you're gonna say.
Oh, I'm sure you do. The other two I'm going to say is To All the Other Boys I've Loved Before.
Yep.
That one was so good. And I hate to be such a dork, but honestly, like, I watched that, I was like, God damn, this was really a good one. Like, it was a really good coming of age one. I cannot, I'm extremely impressed. That film was enjoyable and relatable, and the lead actress, who I don't have pulled up right now, she did a spectacular job. That was a good one. Good job on you, Netflix. I like that one.
Lana Condor.
That was good. The other one I will also recommend is that Netflix has out. It's called Sierra Burgess is a Loser. Now, here's my only thing about this one. This one, I will say the film, like, what occurs I won't say it's far-fetched, but there's moments in it that I'm like, okay, you guys are really stretching this one a little bit to make this work. But it's okay because it was also actually really enjoyable, and there's a lot of like 80s kind of reference pop culture things that were kind of fun that they pop in with that one. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought that was good. I won't say I enjoyed it as much as To All the Other Boys I've Loved Before, but I would say it'd be a good second place. And Kissing Booth I was feverish. It was fine.
So actually, I wasn't thinking you were going to say that one. The one I thought you were going to say that I keep hearing a ton of good stuff about is Set It Up.
Oh, yeah. I haven't brought myself to watch that one yet.
I heard lots of good things about that one.
I kept it to the teenage realm. Yeah.
Well, I guess that one is maybe not teenage, but young adultish.
Yeah, we'll go with your early 20s on that one.
Yeah, exactly. But
the other ones were cute. They were cute. And yeah, I would definitely recommend for anybody to watch that, To All the Other Boys I've Loved Before. That one was done really well. I was amazed by that one. I was like, because I had zero expectations for it, and I was just like, holy cow, this is really good. I was like, this was a really good film.
Sweet.
So yeah. And actually, one of our good close friends to the Flicker Effect family, he really likes it. He and his wife really like it a lot. Lord.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, what? Who?
Yeah, Lord Mesa likes that one a lot, actually. I've been seeing his doodles. He's been drawing. He's been liking that one. He and his wife seem to like that one a lot. Yeah. I'm not crazy.
I didn't say you were crazy. I just didn't know what you were talking about.
Oh. Do we have a lot of friends in the Flicker Effect family?
Jeez. Don't tell anybody.
I mean, close friends that we could say, oh, look at this. It's our good friend.
Well, before we run out of time, one quick thing, and then one thing we have to discuss before we leave.
Oh, I think I know.
But real quick, I did mention that, I haven't really watched anything else, but I have been playing Spider-Man on PS4, which dropped about a week ago, I think.
Yes.
So I really remember the last time a game has caused such a stir in the community.
Fortnite.
It feels like Yes, okay, there you go. That's probably the last time. But in this sense, I haven't seen it for a console exclusive game.
Right.
Because typically it's a game that you can play on your Xbox and you can play it on your PS4, and they might have it on computer or your Nintendo Switch. But for just a one console version game, this Spider-Man game, I swear I've seen so many people on Twitter and different social media screen capturing their screenshots of Spider-Man. I guess maybe in the game you can take pictures of yourself around the city and stuff.
Yeah, there's
and
like
so
little
people have been
photo
showing all the
ops.
different things. Yeah, so it's been nonstop Spider-Man stuff for like the last week since it's come out, and everybody seems to be across the board loving it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't. I've played it basically not even about 48 hours,
Maybe.
And I mean, so I can't really give it like a good review of the game, but I like it. I will say also this style of game is not. I'm not best at. Like, I don't know these. I don't even know what you would call this style of game, but you know, it's. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not
just an action.
I'm not really a gamer, so I'm not, I guess, great on some typical like game descriptions. But this style of game is such where it's like you really have to start to remember a decent amount of combination of controls in order to
Be effective.
pull off certain fights, fight moves and stuff like that. And I don't know. I think that kind of thing is always I've never been great at. With that said, like playing more as I did today, I feel like I'm finally getting the hang of it. But I enjoy it. It's good. I think all of the positive attention it's getting is warranted, but I don't. So far, I wouldn't say I'm like blown away by it. Like there was part of me that felt like, oh man, this is almost like a game changer kind of game, and I don't know if I'd go that far. But if you're a fan of Spider-Man, especially, or just comic book, movies or comic books in general, or in superheroes, like it's a good, solid game. And I will say it's actually kind of nice for someone like me who's not as familiar with Spider-Man, since I never read Spider-Man. I've only seen the movies, and it's like I'm getting to kind of experience almost like the comics through this game in a way. It feels like
more of the villains and more of those little other plot lines that are happening.
What his everyday life is like in New York. And I do like the freedom aspect of you just basically have the freedom to swing around New York and go on to the next mission when you are ready to go on to the next mission almost, but then also have all these, you'll be swinging around New York and you'll hear a report of, oh, look, a burglary is happening like right over here. And you can just go take care of it real quick.
It reminds me of that one level in Mario Odyssey where he's in like a city and he can just do like little side things and he's just kind of doing little piddly thingamajigs like that.
Right.
I will say, like, I think hear me out. I think the graphics in this are good. Like they're pretty darn awesome. But when I look at the graphics compared to Legends of Zelda, Something in the Wind, we play it. It's on the Switch.
Something we play
on the Switch. The Zelda.
Anyway, the most recent Zelda game.
Anyways, when I think about the graphics on that one compared to this, I'm like, I think that game has it.
Really?
No, I don't know about that. First of all, I think it'd be hard to compare, but
it is hard to compare.
Yeah.
But it's like I think about the way like the waves of the grass are and the wheat, like, and I think about different other things. And I think the graphics in that aspect are better. But then when you look at Spider-Man, like when it comes to like a full body, like you look at a person, it's like a person, like it's well rounded and shaped. But I will say that other effects are, I don't know. It's weird. Like the graphics are, I don't know. The graphics are different, but I wouldn't say that they're like ahead of their time or anything.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say they're ahead of their time, but they're pretty solid. I'm also not playing it on a PS4 Pro. I know if I were, it'd look even better.
I've heard that, yeah.
But I don't know. It's like the cinematics, for example, just
the cinematics
the
are good.
movement of these characters. I'm like, man, they look like it's getting so close to like this looks like a human being.
The cinematics are good.
But yeah, overall the game's solid. I'm happy with the purchase. But I wouldn't. I don't know. I feel like some of the praise is like this is maybe like the greatest game ever. Let's all calm a little back. Let's calm down a little bit.
Right.
But no, it's good.
I think that what I read, no one, at least nothing that I read, anyone pointed to it being this revolutionary game. Because in fact, I've heard from the complaint of it is that it doesn't do anything to break the mold of games of that type that have come before it. But everyone, from what I get, the impression just seems to be the sheer amount of joy and the ability to really capture Spider-Man and feel like you're that character in the game is done so well that's where a lot of the praise seems to come from, especially with the web slinging thing and that aspect of going through the city.
Yeah, to be able to swing around New York and the way you can do it, and that is impressive and that is cool. And as someone, I don't know, I've even been impressed with like how much detail did they go into in Manhattan, like how accurate is all of this. I'm like,
from what I understand, it's pretty accurate.
I know. That's part of me is like, I mean, I worked in New York for a year. Part of me is like, man, I want to kind of go to certain neighborhoods and see like, is this like the building I worked in? Does it look like that? You know, like it seems like it's pretty accurate as far as I could tell. That's why I was like, man, how much detail do they go into with like all of these streets, like in a real city? This isn't like when I played like the Arkham Knight games, and obviously Gotham is whatever they want it to be. You know,
Right.
This is like, wait, this is New York. Okay. It's pretty sweet. So.
Yeah, I feel like I wonder if you could play that game and not know anything about New York and then visit New York and literally be able to navigate yourself around just based
Wow.
off of the Spider-Man game.
That would be an impressive game.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Right?
So yeah, it's
You
good.
wouldn't be able to web swing, but you know.
Well, yeah,
still.
you wouldn't be able to do that. That'd be a problem is whenever you play the game, all you're doing is exploring the sides and tops of buildings, and you're never walking around on street level. And then you'd be like, well, fuck, that didn't do anything for me. So yeah, that's Spider-Man. I'll keep at it. I'm like 4% in, so
Oh gosh.
I've got a ways to go.
A lot of game to go.
Yeah, it's the bits. But we've got like 10 minutes left, and we got to get out of here. Actually, barely that. But we have to talk about Henry Cavill.
I knew that's where I was going.
I mean, I don't know. I could not open up this can of worms in case we think we're going to talk about it for 30 minutes. But we can at least comment on it. What did you say, Bobby?
I said no. I think we can keep it contained.
We can keep it brief. But for those who don't know, it was reported first by the Hollywood Reporter this past week that it appears that Henry Cavill may not be returning to the character of Superman in the DC universe of films. And Bobby, you may know more details, so you can correct me if I get anything wrong here, but it seems like it was pointing to the fact that they were trying to negotiate a cameo appearance of Superman in the Shazam film, which they couldn't make work. And then it seemed from there that things have kind of fallen apart, and Henry Cavill and his management seemed like they're basically kind of walking away from the character. There's been an official statement by Warner Brothers since this all went down, which didn't say, yeah, we're definitely keeping him. In fact, I can read it real quick. It said, while no decisions have been made regarding any upcoming Superman films, we've always had great respect for and a great relationship with Henry Cavill, and that remains unchanged, which doesn't say much of anything. So yeah, nothing is official yet, but it would seem that there's a very distinct possibility that Henry Cavill is not coming back as Superman. Michelle's giving me a look, so I feel like I have to ask you, what's your take, Michelle?
I'm sad and heartbroken by this news, honestly. Like, and the thing is nothing's been officially said, and the optimist in me is like, oh, well, the issues with, Henry not being able to do anything at Shazam is because Henry was so engrossed with MI6 that there's just no way his schedule could happen. Hell, he barely was able to pull out of his schedule to go film crap for Justice League. So maybe he's just that freaking busy and it's just not working out. Like, I'm hoping that it's just a huge scheduling conflict that's happened, and I'm hoping that down the road his schedule will be a lot more open and flexible. Having said that, though, it wouldn't shock me if he did, because I think right now Warner Brothers doesn't know what the flying fuck to do with DC. And I think they don't know what directions they want to go in, and the directions that they are going in aren't based on decisions that are made because of a specific desire. I think they're following a certain path of what's popular right now. And because they haven't had any intelligent guidelines or sightlines to move forward with a Man of Steel 2, why promise that you're going to keep Henry if you don't even think you're going to do a Man of Steel 2, and you don't know how Justice League is going to continue to formulate out? So it's heartbreaking to admit that this is probably the truth. It's probably not coming back, because I don't think Warner Brothers knows what the hell they want to do. So that's my 2 cents on it. It sucks on so many levels.
Bobby, what's your take?
I really enjoy Henry Cavill as Superman. When I first saw Man of Steel, I never really cared for the specific way they treated Superman in the movie, but the movie overall I really enjoyed. And there's different aspects of it that I don't enjoy, but what I did take away from it is that I felt as though Henry Cavill looked like Superman, and he had the potential to be the Superman I wanted him to be. Mm-hmm. And then Batman versus Superman rolled around, and it was still the same feeling. I feel like they still hadn't quite gotten the Superman character correct, but I really like seeing Henry Cavill in that role. Mm-hmm. And then fast forward to Justice League, and I feel like they started to course correct the character, and we're getting the aspects of what makes Superman Superman. They were starting to get that, and he seemed to feel like Superman to me. And I had the utmost faith in Henry Cavill the whole time that he could pull off that version. And so it had me excited for the idea that now if we get a Man of Steel 2, I'm going to see this Superman on screen that I've been wanting to see. And so to hear this news, it really took the wind out of my sails. Mm-hmm. It's just think of another person in that role. At this point, I feel like, and I wouldn't have, it's weird because I never thought of it in these terms before, but I really feel like once you take Henry Cavill out of that role of being Superman, I'm completely comfortable with the idea of just rebooting the entire universe at this point.
I think you almost
because
have
I
to.
don't even. Well, I just never knew inside that I was feeling as though Henry Cavill as Superman was the linchpin for me for this entire thing. I guess I hadn't thought about it, and because it didn't seem like he was going anywhere. There never seemed like there was a sense that he might not be in that role, and I guess him not being Superman anymore. And then obviously everything with Ben Affleck that we hear in terms of him probably not being back as Batman, I'm completely comfortable with the idea of after Wonder Woman comes out, if they decided to go ahead and hit the reset button.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I'll say real quick, I really like Henry Cavill's Superman. I liked Man of Steel. I know it has a lot of there's a lot of people that have problems with that movie, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm basically the same as you, Bobby. As much as I enjoyed it, I get the complaints about like the way the character was handled, but you could see that there was going to be a future of him as Superman, and it was going to be great. And then what we see in Justice League is like, oh wow, this is great in terms of his character anyway. and then just the lack of information about a Man of Steel 2 has been really frustrating. It's like, come on, like you have such a good Superman here, and he seems like the kind of guy who enjoys being the character.
He loves it. Are you
follow
kidding?
him on social media, and it's not the kind of actor. He's not the kind of actor that's like, shuns the fact that he's in superhero films. He's all about it. And,
he embraces it wholeheartedly.
and it's a bummer that they don't seem like they have any priority to make a Man of Steel 2, and so in turn it's probably not going to happen. And kind of what you're saying, Bobby, the reset button thing, I agree, but I don't see that happening, not in the way that I think a lot of people want, and myself included. I would love for them to hit the reset button, but I see a future, at least for a little while now, where they're just going to be going down the road of making individual character films that aren't connected at all, and doing that sort of thing. That really seems to be where they're going. I think
I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
And I think the big reason, though, is that Wonder Woman has been successful. If Wonder Woman was not a great movie and everybody didn't love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, then I think maybe then they could hit a full reset button and try to do like a shared DC Universe kind of series. But you could make the argument that, like they could still hit the reset button and still use her, but they're not going to do that.
No, they wouldn't.
I would be so opposed to that. As much as I like Gal Gadot and Wonder Woman in together, I would not like the fact that if they hit reset, they still had her as Wonder Woman. It just feels disconnected, disjointed.
Right. No, and I'm not saying I think
reset, hit it all.
I'm not saying I think they would do that, but I can see people could make that argument, but I don't see them doing that either. Like, I think that it seems apparent that they're going down the road of they're making random films. They're making this Joker film. They want apparently to make a Supergirl film, and we've got an Aquaman movie coming, and let's say that's great. If Aquaman actually turns out to be a really solid, great movie, they're going to want to make more of those with him as Aquaman.
And there's always that red carrot they keep dangling in front of us. It's the Flash.
Right. It seems like they're going down the road of they're just kind of making separate, character films, and I'm bummed because I would love to have. I'm not saying I need the DC films to mirror the Marvel movies, but you could see that they could really make a great DC universe of films, and they have not done it. And I'm not saying they're never going to do it, but it seems to me they're not doing it anytime soon.
No, I think, I don't need it all to jive and talk together and come together in one big picture at the end of the day, but it would be nice to have a little bit of cohesion in the films kind of working together in a certain sense, like I kind of like a little bit of this one kind of sort of flows into that one a smidgen, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like an end game the way that, say, Avengers is right now. Like, there doesn't have to be a bigger picture to it. I don't know. It's frustrating because I just think DC basically made a big hot effing mess.
It just seems
Warner
like
Brothers
it's
made a big
such
mess
a
out of
huge
DC.
loss to lose him as Superman. I mean, losing Ben Affleck as Batman, whatever.
I'm pretty okay with that,
really
honestly.
Don't
it's
care,
fine.
but losing Henry Cavill as Superman is just a huge bummer.
It's heartbreaking.
And if indeed, it doesn't seem like they have any plans to have Superman in a film anytime soon anyway, so we don't really have to concern ourselves with who are they going to get to replace him, because it will be years from now. But it sucks. And I mean, with that said, real quick, I'll say, because none of the rumors have been saying that they've been interested in possibly recasting Superman with Michael B. Jordan. And I'll just say real quick, I have no problem who plays Superman in terms of what race they are and such, but in terms of Michael B. Jordan himself, he is a great actor, and I don't see him as Superman. I don't think he's a great fit for this character. That's my quick takeaway as soon as I heard that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, and I even thought this honestly with Black Panther, and I enjoyed the shit out of Black Panther, but I wasn't the biggest fan of him as Killmonger. I think I just like him so much more as a dramatic actor than an action hero actor. I think that's more of his niche area, in my opinion. I like him more in those roles than I do, I think, more in action films.
Well, I don't bring this up to thing. But I would say if you saw him in Creed, you might change your mind a little bit on that. But
I also don't look at Creed as an action film.
Are you talking to me or Michelle in that respect? Like in terms of seeing him as Superman, or terms of what?
Seeing him as an action person.
Oh, okay.
And I know you don't and it's not necessarily, but when you see him in the movie, you kind of get a sense of how he could be as an action star. And I could see it, but
And I'm not meaning anything to
I
his
agree.
physique or anything.
No, it's not just that, but you'd have to see it. But it's not that I don't see him as Superman. It's just that I could see other people that I think I would give that role to before him. For instance, as cliche as it might, excuse me, as cliche as it might sound, and I even hate to say it just because it sounds so cliche, but I would see Idris Elba as Superman if they were going down that road more than I could see Michael B. Jordan.
To kind of keep with an aging cast of heroes.
Well, that and he just looks like he could. I mean, I could see him trying to portray that sort of Clark Kent kind of version with some black glasses on and being that aspect. And then when it comes to being the action, he'd be straight up, looking the part and being able to pull it off.
I could see that.
But yeah, I don't have any issue. I never had any issue with that, just because, as anyone who reads the comics knows, and who knows anything about Superman, he's from an alien planet, so he could be purple for. It just made sense in the aspect of them creating the character at the time that they did to make him white, so he blended in with the society and the look of humans. But technically, he could have been in green, and he could have been orange. I mean, whatever, but. Yeah, so it didn't matter of what his race is.
Yeah. And then in the early, what was it, 19 Humnahas, 1940s when they started Superman?
Right.
Like in the 1940s, yeah. Shocking. They made him a white dude.
Yeah, and again, in that respect, I don't care who
Yeah.
plays him. It's just, I don't know, Michael B. Jordan for me, and I think he's a great actor, and I haven't seen Creed yet, and I don't have a problem with it being an action star, but...
I think I just see him so much more as a drama actor.
Yeah, see, I don't know.
And even Creed, I don't even look at it as more of an action film. I look at it as more of a drama.
That's fair.
With action in it, with obviously the boxing in it. But I'm just saying, I feel like it's more of it. Anyways,
I'm not even trying to. I don't know. I just don't see him as Superman. That's all I was trying to say. I don't think it's a matter that he's not the right actor for that style of film. I just mean that character specifically.
Gotcha.
I mean, I think he could be many other different comic book characters. Just, I don't know. I just don't see him as Superman. All right, well, it's time to wrap things up. As always, we'd love to hear back from everyone listening. You can email us at feedback@flickereffect.com with your questions and comments. We'd really like to hear back from you. Let us know what you think. And yeah, ask us anything you want. We will be happy to answer. Sorry, Michelle.
I was just going to say, we're all ears. We'd like to hear from our listeners, from our peoples.
Yeah, with that, I'm David Lott.
I'm Bob Jackson.
And I'm Michelle Hillard.
Thanks for listening.